Internet! Hello! How are we today? I'm gonna get rid of all that glare behind me. Alright, so I want to kick off today by saying we're gonna talk about the Batsuit, some thoughts I got for it. The Batman animated series getting a sequel, that's right, one of, if not the absolute best Batman adaptation in my mind is getting a sequel in comic book form. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to talk about that. And we've got a Stranger Things teaser for season 4 that just dropped today. We've got 2 trailers I wanted to talk about last time but ran out of time. We're going to talk about the Gangs of London trailer and the French Dispatch trailer. We got Emilio Estevez doing the work on Mighty Ducks. We got a lot of show for you guys, so I'm going to get started just a moment. I want to thank last time at the end of the stream, literally 30 seconds before I wrapped the stream, Jake, I don't know how to say your last name, man. Icavetta, I think it's how you pronounce it. We met once, and I think it's Icavetta. Jake Icavetta threw something in the Streamlabs, and I didn't catch it until after we wrapped. So Jake Icavetta, who is just a awesome dude, is a huge help to me, the rest of the Collider folk, the schmoes. Jake, thank you for the Streamlabs. That means the world. I appreciate it. Anyone else? I'll be answering Streamlabs questions and Super Chat questions once we get going today, so I'll keep an eye out for those. In the meantime, I'm going to find the Streamlabs so I can actually dive into all that. So the plan is, just on a show note, I want to do, I think, Tuesdays at 2, even though that didn't win the vote. I looked at all the facts, and Wednesdays are really tricky because Wednesdays there is SEN as well as Mark Riley doing a show, so I don't want to step any of those toes. And I also want to have Mark on my show, so I don't want to obviously have that conflict of interest. But also I want to dive into basically the comics that are out tomorrow. So I could do a Tuesday show and then dive into the comics out tomorrow. And then on Fridays we'll lean into movies. And I'm going to try to see whatever movies are out Friday the night before. So my big pull of the week will be hopefully seen on Thursday. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that I am moving, so I did not get a chance to go see Sonic the Hedgehog last night. I am mid-move, but that move is good for y'all because that means I can actually basically set up a studio. I also received one of the microphones in the mail, so I'll be, I have 3 mics now. I have one from my mom, one from good old Joey Rasul, and then one from one of you guys that is going to be setting up the studio. So I'm going to be able to do a podcast with up to 2 guests so far. Soundproofing the studio right now. I'm doing a lot of really cool stuff. So very, very soon we are going to be good to go on the setup. Let's see. I am not moving back east. I am moving to Los Feliz. I'm moving into more of the city to get my stuff going. I'm also very excited for Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm very curious. I'm cautiously very optimistic. I don't know if that's foolish of me. I don't know if that's a bit bold, but I am very excited about it. All right, so I'm going to dive in. Good evening, Ragged Company Recordings. Next Friday, can you go at 4 or 6 to avoid SEN Schmodown? Oh, shit. Okay, so Friday, I will try to make Friday an evening show, and I'll try to make Tuesday a day show. Thank you very much, channels, as ever, for the communication. I will try to make that a thing. So we'll plan for a later afternoon Friday and a 2 o'clock Tuesday. That'll be the plan for the schedule. And Edward Haskell and a few of the other folks that have been incredible about sharing this stuff, we'll have that all in a pretty graphic. We'll make it so. Okay, on to the news. Enough of an intro. Y'all are fantastic. I appreciate the hell out of all y'all. I also love how vocal the live chat's gotten. There's 25 of you guys in here right now, and everyone's in the live chat. The Koi Pond is a very welcoming place. Y'all are the best. Let's kick it off with Batsuit Begins, man. I think this Batsuit looks great. I think it is very telling that DC has learned the best way to release footage is before paparazzi get to it. A lot of studios have been really good at this for years, but I feel like DC is running the game on effectively releasing it on their terms. With Birds of Prey, we got that awesome like sizzling music video that gave us the tone before there was any leaked photos of the costumes. We got a sense of what madness that movie was from like, you know, a minute of chaotic footage that really showed us what Birds of Prey was going to be. Then with the Joker, we got this amazing, stunning, staggering imagery of some of the, you know, the makeup tests, and that ended up showing us a lot of what Joaquin Phoenix's Joker's tone was going to be, so I think it was really indicative of the world they were building with that. And then I also think that this is going to be, I think it's going to be a very somber, melancholy, ponderous Batman. I think the tone of this camera footage is much like Birds of Prey and Joker, a very somber, maybe R-rated. I don't want to say it yet, but I think R-rated take on the Batman, and I think showing us the Batman's Batsuit means they're going to be filming outside soon. I think we're going to see a lot of paparazzi footage. I won't be sharing it because I think that entire industry is gross, but I do think that within the week, I'd say next week, they're going to be shooting outdoors. They had to get ahead of that by having basically all this go through this way so we can actually see it. I'm really curious about it. I'm wondering, one, what the horns look like. We definitely haven't seen the top of his head, which made a lot of people think Daredevil. I'm wondering what the colors are. If you think about it, on the color spectrum, when you bathe something in red, you are very much eliminating all the other colors in the palette. So we don't know what this even looks like, which is really exciting. I think it's going to be blue. I think it's going to have the Batman animated series cape where it's so dark blue it is almost black, but I think it's blue. I think it's going to have that what a lot of people think is two guns. I don't know if that's true. That might be yellow. I think it's going to be a lot more Neil Adams colored. I think it's going to have... Do you remember how Neil Adams was that lighter gray with blue tone, the yellow chest piece, all those things? I'm not sure if the chest piece... That's the one thing I don't know. But I do think it's really interesting that the color that absolutely blacks out everything is red. In bright red, you can't see if it's black, you can't see if it's blue. I think that's all very, very telling. I really hope it's a blue and gray suit. That's what I'm pulling for. Once again, I don't know if that's the case. I do think it's interesting how many people... Imagine if 10 years ago you told anyone that they released Batman footage and a bunch of people were like, oh, Daredevil. Like, how cool is it that we're at this peak nerddom that Daredevil is so relevant that people are... I mean, Batman's been iconic for 80 years. Daredevil's been iconic to comic culture for 50 years, but he's not been in the mainstream except for since the Netflix Daredevil show and maybe the Ben Affleck Spike, but not in this level. So it was really cool for me that both houses are doing so well, Marvel and DC, that Batman caused Daredevil conversation. That's just for me personally. I hate this gang war, this stupid Bloods and Crips thing between DC and Marvel. Both companies respect each other. I think the fans should respect each other. I love the fact that this caused a conversation about both, and hashtag save Daredevil, man. I'd love to see season 4. Anyway, back to Batman, not Daredevil. I loved the fact that it had those Arkham nods. I think the tech base of the suit is really interesting. I think the Arkham game is a great thing to adapt in piecemeal. I don't think you should do, obviously, that level of adaptation where it becomes, not predictable, but I think the Arkham games are a great baseline for a storyline. I also think that the Arkham Asylum itself will be a very telling part of the story. I think that the Long Halloween will be represented somewhat here. I think Arkham's going to be necessary for that. I do think that we're going to have some really interesting multi-villainous aspects that are going to make us forget Batman and Robin. I don't know. I'm really excited, and I think the Arkham suit's a great way to go. Like I said, Neil Adams, I think that's also going to be very telling of his physicality, right? Like, Robert Pattinson is a leaner guy. Ben Affleck played the Frank Miller Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman is one that I adore. I'm a huge Batfleck fan. I think the physicality of that Batman was incredible. I think that suit was one of the best we've ever seen in any comic adaptation. Sorry, need more coffee today. I think it's going to be really interesting to see a more lean Batman, a more detective Batman, and less of a brawler Batman. And I do think that's what we're getting with Pattinson. I do think we're going to get a Neil Adams meet animated series Pattinson. And I do think the animated series is as popular as it's ever been. I think that's going to be coming into play with the movie. I also want to talk about the actual suit. The lack of ears makes me wonder if either they're going to be really short, because that'll be more realistic for the world, or if they're going to be freaking, some beastly bat ears. That's one thing we've never really gotten. We've never gotten some of the more extreme Batman ears. I don't know if it would work with this suit, but I'm curious, since we haven't seen them, what they look like. That's where my brain's going. What are the ears? How do we incorporate those into this delivery system of the suit? I'm also very curious about the little cowl that's on his cowl, because famously, Batman Begins, Christian Bale couldn't even turn his head. A lot of these bat suits, the actors can't actually do a lot in them. You've got to use some creative choreography to make them work. That little cowl allows the other cowl to be completely separate. You can already, in this little bit of footage, he moves his neck a lot more, and I'm really curious what that physicality allows for this Batman as well. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I'm excited for the fight choreography. I think it's going to be, to bring it back to Daredevil, a lot more brutal, a lot more street, a lot more like the hallway fight. I think Matt Reeves has had a vision for a very long time. I think we're going to see a very different take on Batman. The cowl is my favorite part of the suit. I love that little ring they've got there. I think that's going to be really interesting, and I'm wondering what that ties into everything else. A lot of people think this is a basically the gun that killed his parents, folded out. I don't know guns. I'm not a big fan of guns, personally. Do you? So I don't know the machinations of what pieces those would be. So I'm not sure what amount of logic there is in that. I love the Detective Comics 1000 storyline where Kevin Smith wrote about basically Batman melting down the gun for the chess piece under his symbol, like it was a protective chess piece. I think that's a really cool concept, but that's a little more like he melts it down, he destroys it to recreate. That's a little more than the fold out concept, but I'm sure if that is true, the storyline's going to be great. If you haven't read Detective Comics 1000, one of my favorite storylines is Mr. Kevin Smith and Jim Lee's incredible short story about basically what I just described, and I love the idea of him using that as a symbol of strength instead of weakness. Also, if you haven't seen it, I did something for Skybound over on their Gamma Ray channel about the symbol of Batman. It's like an 8-minute written by me, voiced by me, animated cartoon about the symbology of Batman. It should look up iconic Batman symbol on YouTube. It's over on Skybound's YouTube or Gamma Ray's YouTube, and it's my love for the Batman symbol and why I think the Batman symbol is so iconic, and it ties beautifully into the thing we're talking about. I'll actually probably tweet it later. I'll get that out there to you guys. Let's see, what else do we got? Batman's symbol itself looks different, looks cool, very streamlined, almost like Batman's invention way back in the day, like the early Detective Comics stuff. A lot of people think he might also have those colors. Like, what if he has purple gloves and like the very simple bat symbol? That'd be crazy. Anyway, a lot of stuff to theorize off of a very quick image. The Batsuit itself, I think, looks great. A lot of people are upset with it. I'm excited for this Batman more than I've been excited for a lot of superhero movies in years. This is probably my most anticipated. I hate to say most anticipated to 2021 because that's a big year, but it's definitely in the top 3. I'm so excited for this adaptation of Batman. All right, there's a lot going on in the chat. Let me check it out. Then I'll get back to the world. I'm going to jump over to Streamlabs because I saw somebody jumped in Streamlabs right as we started the show. I want to give that some love. Facetious Christ, thank you, sir. Saw your message on Twitter, commented on one of your messages on YouTube. You are fantastic. Facetious Christ is also a glorious name. Thank you very, very much. Also, I just realized the date because it was written in the Streamlabs. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. I hope that you are either with a loved one or love something. The day's about love, right? I'm going to be reading comics a lot. I love comics, and that's where I'm putting whatever time I get. Elliot Bullock II, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining the show. To the one person that downvoted before the show was even over, here's an upvote for you, bro. Or lady. Let's see. What else we got in the chat? Dramatic Riddler like Gotham. I hope Riddler's involved, man. I mean, we know Riddler's involved, but I hope Riddler's like involved. I'd love if the Riddler was the main villain. I think Jim Carrey's Riddler is fantastic, but the modern Riddler is so depraved and dark and intelligent. I would really love to see that take on the intellectual battle of wills between the detective Batman and the Riddler enjoying himself having a foe that's as smart as him. I'd really like to see like a battle of wits. I'd like to see someone in the chat just said Moriarty. I would love to see a Sherlock Moriarty situation. I'd love to see a detective story with someone as smart as Bruce Wayne and Paul Dano. Go watch Prisoners. Go watch There Will Be Blood, man. Paul Dano's going to kill it. So I'm really excited for that. So I agree. I would really like to see that situation. Xeno Hour, it is not a coincidence. The red and blue. You're not wrong. No, it is a coincidence. It's ridiculous. These comic companies love each other. All right, let's see. Philly Jackson said the soundtrack sounded a little bit like the animated series mixed with another take. Got a mixture of Gotham by Gaslight and Batman 66 with this reveal, says Vanko. Ivan Soda, more mobile Batman is always good. I agree. We could definitely use a more mobile Batman. Vanko with the Streamlabs. Oh wait, sorry, with the super chat. Yes, mix of Gotham by Gaslight, Batman 66. I totally agree. And I'm glad we got that working for you up in Canada. I appreciate you. Yeah, I think that Gotham by Gaslight is a brilliant one-off. If you've never read any Batman, that is a fun place to start. And Batman 66 is obviously going to be the way throwback Batman, and it's going to be really interesting to see how and if they have nods to that in there. All right, let's see. A lot of people. Okay, caught up. Let's move on to Batman the Animated Series. Speaking of OG Batman, if you guys don't know, I am a huge Batman the Animated Series fan. I have it on Blu-ray. I got that special edition that I love very dearly. Actually, one of my ideas. Actually, let me know. Let me know in the live chat if I was to do like not a watch along, but maybe a watch along. Do something with that, because I really want to rewatch that series, and I'd love to share that experience with you. So maybe I review like chunks of 5 episodes, because doing each individual one would probably be crazy. Maybe I talk about, maybe we watch it along together. One of my Patreon things is watch along with content like this. So if you guys would be interested in any Batman the Animated Series stuff, you let me know. Anyway, Batman the Animated Series is getting a sequel this April with a 6-issue run from the original producers and the original artists that did the Batman Adventures comics. Remember the Batman Adventures? It was like a tie-along to the Batman show back in the 90s. It was similar animation style, art style. It was the same, like, you could hear Mark Hamill's Joker coming out of that thing. It was so much fun, and it was a tie-in with the show. They're doing a sequel. So it is going to be coming out in April. It is from Paul Dini, Alan, man, I wrote this down so messy, Burnett, and Ty Templeton. Ty Templeton on art, once again, that was the Batman Adventures artist. This starts in April. If you like animation, if you like that run of Batman, I really think this is a really cool opportunity to support that situation. It is going to be really rad. I'm picking it up in April. It is a 6-issue mini. It's going to be pretty contained. I'm so stoked to check it out. They announced that like 2 days ago. I'm a big fan. I cannot wait. Was Batman the Animated Series serialized or episodic? It was a bit of both. It was mainly episodic, but there were some runs that ran long, and there were things that tied into earlier episodes where it helped to watch it all in some sort of order, if that makes sense or helps. But it was a blend. I'm reading the chat as much as I can, Brian NG, but I will definitely be catching the Streamlabs and Super Chats, because I can see those. They're big and in color, and it's gonna get crazy. And I as this channel grows, it's gonna get crazy. But in between sections, like I'm doing right now, I do try to hone in, grab a couple of those. The glare is crazy. Okay, after Batman the Animated Series, I want to talk about Stranger Things Season 4. We got a teaser this morning. I liked the fact that it was 50 seconds. I liked the fact that it gave us absolutely nothing except for a big mic drop reveal that we all kind of assumed. I think it was smart to, much like the Batsuit, they revealed it on their terms. They definitely expected people to know that spoiler alert for a teaser from this morning, if you haven't watched it, it's 50 seconds. They definitely expected people to think that Hopper was back. They definitely expected people to find out through whatever means that David Harbour was filming Stranger Things Season 4. I'm really excited because this allows them to have him out in the open. They can tell the teaser story they need. They can have the first trailer feature him. They can get more storyline out there. And when they're filming, we're not going to find out via paparazzi that David Harbour is in fact back. He is bald. He is intense. He is in Russia. I have a lot of questions. And that's also really fun because this allows for a lot of questions. They did say the American. I agree, Venko. So people assumed that he was in that cell, and he was. Anyway, the mystery was if that was the American, but we assumed. Anyway, I think that David Harbour is a beating heart in this show. He's very important. It was brutal when we lost him. It was very much like the 80s movies. It replicates. When Arnold died in Terminator or T2, with any of those moments, when he came back, it didn't undermine the death. It kind of shapes it like the 80s. Like, this is very much like a comic book thing. They always come back. I'm not mad he's not dead or stayed dead. I'm not mad they gave us that in the teaser. It makes me more excited for Season 4. And also, this teaser, it's going to be interesting because not only is David Harbour back, but he's gone through some stuff. I'm curious what changed between the crazy dad Hopper taking care of his daughter and the dad Hopper that's now been to Russia and survived some shit. I'm also really curious what they're going to do with the fact the show, the first 3 seasons all took place in a small town. That gave it that old 80s horror movie vibe, that Halloween vibe, that Nightmare on Elm Street vibe from those classics. The tone of those shows was this great 80s supernatural thriller, but then not contained by the villainy. This allows us to globetrot. This allows us to maybe have some Russian exploits. This allows us to see the bigger world of Stranger Things. And as the show grows, it's going to be really interesting how the tone changes, right? It's going to be really interesting to see what... The kids are getting older, and they're at that age where they're gonna, shoot up, not shoot up, but grow quickly. And it's gonna be really interesting to see as the show gets more adult, if that translates into the world growing, and if that translates into a lot more storylines in Russia, all of those things. I'm very excited. Ivan Soto, I have not had a chance to watch Lock and Key yet. Believe you me, the moment I do, I'll be reviewing the hell out of it, but I wanted to make sure I got some live chats up. I had not had the chance to watch Lock and Key, but I'm very excited because I love that series. I love Joe Hill. So I think that the Russian setting is going to be interesting. I think the kids growing up is going to be interesting. I also think it was a good move to show Hopper, because he, even bald, is going to look very much the same as compared to the kids who've grown up another year. I really love Stranger Things, guys, as per this right there. That is one of my favorite pieces of art. Stranger Things Glory. Right there. I'm so excited for season 4. And back to it. Okay, so we got in the next setting. I'm going to dive back and see what y'all are having to say. Christian, greetings from Norway. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the super chat. And Norway is a place I have always wanted to go. I have never been in my life, but I'm real jealous. It sounds amazing. Yeah, Norway is on the, like, I want to check out Japan, Iceland, Norway. Those are all like the next leg of travel. And Paris. I want to check out Paris. I got a lot of traveling to do, but Norway's high on the list. Thank you very much. Greetings back at you. All right, let's see. Rocky 4 reference, Nolan Dean. I would love that so very much. If there's any montage or training sequence that takes place in Russia, and maybe David Harbour has a beard and he's using machines from the future. That's a combination of both those montages, by the way. Let's see what else. David Harbour since Newsroom. Dude, Sahil, I have been a David Harbour fan since Newsroom as well, and there was actually... this is behind-the-scenes info on comic book shopping. There was a running joke on the show where we talked about Newsroom in every single segment, but they ran out of... They like to keep that show at like 13 to 14 minutes. We actually usually have about 30, 40 minutes of footage. I ask a lot more questions. We go a lot more, all over the place. Then they have to shape the narrative because Cobster is a ninja and makes it a through line, and he is... Cobster, man, thank you. Christian, for those that don't know. This is going to be one of those moments where I lost that, and it was about, I brought up Newsroom in every segment, and there's actually one of them stayed in, and it sounds like we're making a reference to Marvel, DC, and Newsroom, but it's actually a series of Newsroom talks, because I'm a huge Sorkin fan. I'm a big fan of him from that show. That was a long tangent, but I too enjoy Newsroom and Harbour on it. Okay, back to it. Let's dive into Gangs of London. Now, this is a trailer. I knew nothing about this movie. I did not know Gareth Edwards was making a London crime thriller. I did not know any of the cast. Someone actually tweeted me the trailer and was like, hey, this seems like your thing. This is amazing. And I absolutely agree. I am so excited for Gangs of London. It is basically a slow burn Guy Ritchie tone. It is a very intense, full of beautiful, vibrant imagery. There's so much in this trailer that just sticks with you. It opens with the shot of him with a rope and a guy dangling off the edge, and then throughout the trailer you see this arc with just this one beautiful moment, and it lands with this imagery of a man on fire propelling towards the ground from a skyscraper. And there's just, I love organized crime, man. I love crime movies. I love that side of society. I think it's really interesting. Fun fact, I went to London and I stayed in a nice area, and I did not feel comfortable because all of my exposure to London culture is not the posh side. Everyone was in suits, and I felt like I was going to break something. You know when you go to an antique store and you put your hands in your pockets and you're like, I don't belong? That was me all of London until I found Soho, and then I found pockets of London that felt like mine. Like I'm a kid from the not nicer areas of Boston, so London freaked me out when everybody was in suits and shit. I was staying near Piccadilly Circus, way too fancy. Anyway, this looks like the London that I've been exposed to through various medias, through various Londoners I know. I'm way, way interested in organized crime and crime culture and all of that world. So Guy Ritchie's one of my favorite creators in film. To see someone dive into the world that feels like a Guy Ritchie world in a completely different tone fascinates me. This looks brutally intense. It looks really intelligent. The performances look great. There's a lot of character actors, like that guy, that girl from other properties in leading roles, which excites me. I really like when there's an opportunity for actors to not be distracting because of their other work. A lot of times it's great to see a movie star in a thing, but a lot of times you're thinking about their other shit. There were a couple times in 1917 where I definitely was like, oh right, this actor. And it was great for the actors to get to play a smaller role, and I really appreciated and respect the fact they did that smaller role. But it's nice to see actors that don't normally get these giant leading roles get them. I love to see people get the chance to show all of their skills, their entire arsenal. I'm so excited. So everyone in this looks fantastic. The imagery looks great. The cinematography, I'm not sure who did the cinematography. I need to look that up. Looks fantastic. Gareth Edwards directing it. This became one of my most anticipated movies of the year instantly, just from this trailer. I'm really curious about the long, slow burn take on this, because I think it's going to be appealing to a lot of different types of demographics. Like, it's going to be appealing to me, who, as has been quoted in here, I like organized crime. But I also think it's really interesting that it's going to appeal to, like, the Oscar voters. It's going to appeal to the people that like the fancy posh storylines. It's going to appeal to all of this. It's a TV series? No. Okay, this changed the game. MK Songbird, thank you. I didn't know it was a series. Guys, I watched the trailer. I thought it was a movie. I'm way more excited to live in this world for hours and hours and hours. Thank you, MK Songbird. See, I read the live chat. Don't doubt me. That's amazing news. Holy crap. Okay, I'm all in. I was talking about it like it was a movie because it looks cinematic. Give me this show. Thanks. This is news. It's rolling in as we speak. Changing my entire experience. I was ready to go pay $20 of LA money to go see that in theaters, but now I'm going to watch it from the comfort of my own home and live with these characters for hours and hours. The budget does look insane. Okay. That just happened live. That's how I react to news, y'all. This is why, like, I don't report, like, I can't be on CNN or whatever. I'd find out some shit and be like, this changes everything. Not composed. I can learn it, but I'm not there yet. Okay, back in the game. A movie I do know is a movie. The other trailer I really enjoyed this week for the film The French Dispatch from Wes Anderson, known filmmaker. I love his symmetry. There's something so comfortable about his frames. Like, you look at his incredible set design, you look at his incredible production designers, you look at the way he frames a world to look like a book. It's just staggering. I really enjoy the fact that his movies are instantly from a frame. The cast he uses, it's obvious, like, why people want to work with him again. They go right back to diving into the Wes Anderson world. Everything about this looks like my cup of tea. The cast is, his go-tos. Hearing Ed Norton on the phone in that one little moment got me excited all over again. There's a lot going on in this trailer, and it feels so, like, it's like a warm blanket. Like, Wes Anderson movies always feel so comfortable and so, like, home. There's a lot going on. So I'm really excited for this movie. I wrote down, what else did I write down? The bike shot. There's this shot that takes place during a war, and I assume the actual dispatch is this person, but he's riding his bike, and it's this one, like, 5-second shot, and it feels like when you look at those old war photos, there's a lot of energy and power in it, but it's also moving, so it's really exciting. And I don't know, there's something about this trailer that really got me. I love Bill Murray. I love Liev Schreiber. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I'm a big fan. And obviously Tony Revolori. There's a lot going on in this. I can't wait. I didn't know Wes Anderson had a movie coming out this soon. I'm all in. That is my my thoughts on the trailer. All right, let's see what is going on. Best out of context quote. I love organized crime. Code Jandreau 2020. Yep. Any updates on a podcast, buddy, or any other casts you are joining? I am doing a podcast. I found a company that's going to help me get it on Spotify and iTunes, and basically I'm going to be recording there for a month or two while I set up my spot. That way I'm not just, delaying getting stuff to you guys. So I will be hopefully doing that. Maybe I go to Hawaii next week for a con. They're sending me out to Hawaii to cover a Comic-Con. I'm moderating a lot of the Comic-Con. Amazing Comic-Con. Aloha. If y'all are in Hawaii, close to Hawaii, love Hawaii, check it out. It's literally next week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday on Oahu, which someone told me in the last YouTube is the island that it's on, because I didn't know. It is very exciting. And I'm going to try to record a podcast either Monday or Tuesday to kick this beast off, hopefully. And then through March, I'm going to be recording with this company. And then hopefully by then, I'll have the setup in my new studio. I'm moving as we speak. Like, I'm finishing this and moving. So hopefully I'll have it set up by then. But yes, I'm going to have a podcast. I do believe it's going to be called KoiCast, because that's what I've wanted to call my podcast since podcast started. So KoiCast will be coming soon, maybe as early as next week. And it's going to be long form. It's going to be dealing with a lot of this same stuff. And I'm hoping that I can take the audio from these old YouTubes, throw it up on iTunes and Spotify, and that way people that don't sit and watch for an hour will have the opportunity to basically get all this news that'll be old news then, but through me, and my opinions and all that jazz. So yes, podcast update is we found a place, and it is happening, and I'm making moves. Okay. Let's see. I will be talking about the James Bond song. I am a James Bond fan, but I have not talked about the song yet, and you will hear my opinion very soon. But first, other news in the world of things I like that is not necessarily comic, but is comic-based adjacent. Kristen Ritter, yes, Jessica Jones herself, is in a bidding war for a new show. She is doing a show about a female serial killer based on an upcoming book called Serial Killers Anonymous. And the writer and showrunner of one of my new favorite shows, I am currently, for the first time, watching Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. The person who created that show and show ran it is doing this insane show about a serial killer with Kristen Ritter. I cannot pronounce her name, and I want to hear it said first, so next week I will say the name out loud because I don't want to butcher names. I hate when people butcher mine. But she's doing another show with Kristen Ritter. There's a bidding war right now between like HBO Go, Netflix, Hulu, so that means the scripts are great. I'm currently in the middle of Don't Trust the Bitch, and it is so my exact shit. I was already a huge James Van Der Beek fan. If you guys haven't seen Rules of Attraction or his work in the Jay and Silent Bob series, obviously Dawson's Creek, Van Der Beek, his tone of self-awareness is exactly my kind of humor. There's an episode where he plays with action figures of himself as James Van Der Beek in the show where he plays actor James Van Der Beek. That's so my exact shit. I'm loving this show. So Kristen Ritter teaming up with that showrunner again, I'm all about it. So far, the show is untitled. The book is, like I said, Serial Killer Anonymous. So I'm really curious how it goes. It's also, one of the writers on it was a writer on Punisher. So we've got Punisher writer, Jessica Jones starring. That felt related enough for me to give you guys that news because those are all things I really enjoy. I'm really curious. So we will see. What else we got? All right. I will try to have Amy Dolan on Koicast. Amy Dolan is working at DC Daily, which is a lot of time, so she's over there a lot. And she's on Twitch. Check out her Twitch. She's doing her thing. I whenever it works out, yes. And I love working with Amy, so hopefully soon. Emilio Estevez. Guys, Emilio Estevez. If you are from my generation, if you are a fan of the world of Mighty Ducks, this news, it was just everything. Emilio Estevez is back for a Disney Plus Mighty Ducks. And that means we are getting the same coach back, which means it's all canon, which means we get to have a spiritual sequel that is actually a sequel to the Mighty Ducks. I'm so excited, guys. I also love the fact that I didn't know until like 2 years ago that Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez were related. Martin Sheen is their dad. It blew my mind. It's all a lot. But I grew up watching Mighty Ducks. I cannot wait to see a slap shot, and I hope it's super dramatic. I cannot wait to hear quack, 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 Star Drew. That is correct. I cannot wait for all of that. I am so excited. That's all the news I got. I just know they're filming. Seeing that man on ice skates made me really excited. Also, this week, speaking of big comeback moments, Rick Moranis is back for a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series. Disney Plus is pulling out all the stops, man. A lot of people are upset about the Disney monopoly. I am at times because I think it's scary, but that monopoly, man, means we get some incredible cast members. I love that Disney really cares about the fans. I love that Disney wants to support the history of these shows. Rick Moranis out of retirement for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, man, that is fantastic news. So thank you, Disney, for investing in us and our nostalgia. I'm so excited. Let's make that a thing. All right, let's see what Streamlabs, if there's any updates. I want to make sure I get to those. And Streamlabs is dope shirt. I believe it was Shakespeare who said, "Be or not to be, there is no try." I believe it was Master Shakespeare, Billy Shakes Yoda, who said that very thing from Smack Talk 4. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen the bottom of this shirt, but it's very on-brand me. The shit writes itself, y'all. Billy Shakes. Okay, thank you very much, Smack Talk 4, over in Streamlabs. All right, back to the show. Go check out Mighty Ducks if you've never seen it. Ducks do fly together. Let's see. It is Knuckle Puck time. All right. Let's see what else we got in the news today. You guys want to talk James Bond? Let's talk James Bond. I saw that in the live chat quite a bit. The new James Bond song is not for me. I listened to it. I tried it a couple times. For me, like, and this is my own opinion. The Jack White Bond song, the Amy Winehouse Bond song, there's been so many Bond songs that were so instantly iconic to me that I personally This one just didn't hit. It sounded like a Bond song. The opening was definitely like, you know, a Bond operatic mega theme, all this power, and I just didn't feel the same as it kept going along. I watched it on YouTube, and everyone in the comments kept saying, like, minute 3:20, and then I got there, and I was like, okay, it just wasn't for me. So, no disrespect to her, it just, you know, it wasn't my thing. I love the Adele Bond song. There's a lot, there's ones that really hit me, and this one didn't. That said, that's okay. Billie Eilish just isn't for me, I guess. I keep trying, and it keeps not hitting. And that's okay. There's a lot of music that isn't for everybody. And this is the first time I have felt the old man yells at cloud of, like, I don't understand. And this is one of those. So I'm excited for her. Good on her. I hope she does very well and has a huge career. But yeah, this Bond song just didn't hit me. And a lot of people asked me what I thought, and I feel bad ever saying anything not hyper positive, but this is one of those times I just didn't get it. I thought the lyrics were pretty lean, and I thought the delivery was not for me. So, James Bond itself, though, that new trailer looks absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see Daniel Craig give this one last blistering performance. That dude gets hurt playing Bond so often. I just feel bad for the guy. I know it's his last foray. I know he said that before, but I actually think it's the last time. And this one looks so James Bondy. It looks like a mix of that insane GoldenEye flavor of the pure Looney Tunes physics and insanity meets the Daniel Craig Bond we got with Casino Royale. Like, there's so much going on. I want this Bond. I'm very excited. I'm also curious how it ties into all the rest. It looks like it's playing with its own history. Very curious. In the live chat, let's talk about UFC. Okay. Yeah. I thought the last UFC was solid. I thought some of the calls were contestable. I definitely thought that were some calls I didn't agree with. Some of the reffing, I'm in the Joe Rogan camp of, like, that's not right. I've grown to like John Bones Jones more and more. So I really, that was an impressive fight, but a lot of the undercard, I missed most of the prelim undercard, like the ESPN stuff. So admittedly, I don't know a lot of that stuff, but I thought the undercard was fine. I thought the undercard on the Cowboy Cerrone fight was a little stronger for me. Yeah, but I mean the lot of the reffing was tricky, and the Bones fight was, it was great, but I don't know. I need to revisit those. I honestly, I only watched it the once, and I don't have enough knowledge to really speak on it where I won't sound like an absolute ass, so I won't talk out of my ass. But yeah, oh, dude, the Rogan RDJ podcast was incredible. I've listened to it twice, because when I drive, I listen to podcasts a lot. I got a lot of insight out of RDJ. I love his worldview. I love how he sees art. I love how he sees teamwork. I just love that man. Like, I haven't seen Doolittle yet, but his pitch sounded better than the trailer, so I'm really curious now with that perspective how much I'll enjoy it. He just seems to care so much about cinema and entertainment industry and art. There's just so much going on there that I'm really excited about. Let's see what else we got here. We have a super chat from Jason Ritchie. He says, hey, I'm glad to finally catch one of your streams live. I love that you haven't lost your almost one positivity that you had back before you moved to California. Always be a fan to support anything that you do. Oh, shit, Jason Ritchie from back home. Dude, thank you so much, man. That means the fucking world. Yeah, I am hyper positive, and basically, I try not to talk about things I don't like unless it's hyper requested, a la the Bond song, and I also try to find the positive in things that I'm neutral on or slightly negative on, because there's always merits in art. There's always positive in art. And I also try to lean that way, because the way I see it, there are hundreds of critics. There are thousands of online critics, and there are millions of people with opinions on the internet. So that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And for some reason, being negative is so fucking popular. So I don't... Oh, it's supposed to be overwhelming, not one. Got you. Overwhelming positivity. I'm here for it. But yeah, there's so many people with that voice that I really try to be the other voice. So even if there's just one person yelling positive shit at the 100 people that are yelling negative shit, I at least want to be that one. I think it's way less exhausting. Plus, the world is so negative, and life sucks, man. I wake up pissed all the fucking time. The Mark Ruffalo Hulk line, like, that's me, man. Like, that's my secret cap. I'm always angry. But I don't take that out of my internet. I don't take that out of my pop culture. I don't take that out of my regular shit. So thank you for wanting that kind of content, because that's what I'm going to give here. That's what I'm going to keep giving. That's the world I want to live in. So if I can do anything to live towards that world, I'm going to put that out in the universe, not the other bullshit. And if there's something I don't like, I'm usually going to keep quiet about it. So thank you, Jason Ritchie. I appreciate you very, very much. Welcome from SEN. welcome all the schmoes that are joining now. Yeah, while we have a schmo influx, let's talk about the schmodown. There are some matches coming up soon that I'm very excited for. Some of the matches coming up soon, I think it was publicly announced, but my real rejects are in there, so that's going to be very fun. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about all the real reject stuff when I can. I'm also very excited about the ideas I've got for some other players. I've reached out to some people. I'm also very excited to lean into more live events that hopefully line up scheduling wise, and even matches that I'm not having faction members compete in, I'm going to try to show up. So I'm going to try to be around the schmo as much as possible. I have a devout love for that fan base, so I'm going to definitely try to do that. Ivan, let's go back to Mighty Ducks. Let's do it. Sorry to go back to Mighty Ducks, but from a synopsis, they seem to be making the Ducks into jerks. It ruins the spirit of the movies. How do you feel about that? I think it's going to be a twist. I think the Ducks are going to have to learn to be better. I think the Ducks are going to have to be in a cynical world that they are the negative team and then they grow out of it. I think they're going to have to quack back into optimism. I think it's going to be a very, traditional sports movie where they overcome adversity and then take over. That's what I'm doing. Let's do. That is my world. I like that. Hell yes, Star Drew. I went live versus the Schmodown accidentally, but this is the only time of the day I had it. Thank you, Garth. We are now bringing the Schmo audience over. We went from 50 to 75. Welcome, Schmo audience. I appreciate you. Do you recommend any Spider-Man comics? I want to start reading some. Ultimate Spider-Man from the jump, Brian Michael Bendis, 2000 run. That will give you a lot of the classic Spider-Man stories modernized. It is going to be a retelling a lot of those tales. So it's also a really concise read. It's the same creative team for the longest run of all time. Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley is a powerhouse duo. Art Thibodeau inks for a lot of it. The covers are gorgeous. The inside art is gorgeous. The storytelling makes you cry with happiness and sadness. Ultimate Spider-Man's a solid run. Also, Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man that just wrapped up. Chip Zdarsky, that is a great run. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Tom Taylor, that's a great run. I'm trying to give you short runs. So those three are going to be your short runs. Darkness-wise, go Kraven's Last Hunt, go Tangled Web of Spider-Man, but Ultimate is a really good accessible spot. Let's see. We need more people like Koi on film Twitter. I find a lot of discourse exhausting when it's just pure negativity. You feel like even in a negative situation, you see the bright spots. Yes, Nolan Dean, that is the exact fucking goal. I read a lot of the Oscar comments after this Academy Awards presentation, and I was losing my mind because not only was it uninformed and dumb, but it was negative for the sake of being negative. All this clickbait bullshit is my exact opposite tone. I am so sick of seeing people try to, grab people through clickbait negativity. It is absolutely absurd. Edward Haskell, welcome. I was name dropping you earlier. I appreciate you joining. I know I went up against the Schmo, but I only had from 2 to 3 to do this, so I had to compete with my Schmo brethren. But yeah, I definitely want to contest that because it's really exhausting. It's only getting worse. Facebook fucking things are just the worst. Oh, Spider-Man Life Story is absolutely incredible, Trevor. I totally agree. Koi, any thoughts on picking up Perry Nemiroff for your team? I don't know what she said about playing, but would love to see you on a team. I love Perry, man. I miss doing movie talk with her all the time. If she has the scheduling and availability, she is absolutely someone that's been on my short list. There's only 2 spots left, but I got people for him over there. And Perry is definitely someone I've had my eye on pending her availability. She is an absolute doll. Let me see what is going on up a little higher. Dude. Scott Welsh with the winning comment of the chat. Negative opinions online are like podcasts. Everyone's got one besides Koi. That's got so many layers. I'm working on the podcast, and you know what? I'll work on my not having negative opinions. That's beautiful. Thank you very much, man. That just touched my soul. Let's see. Okay. I think that's all the live chat. I can scroll back through so I can get back to going on. Brett versus Bonnie is happening right now. I also miss movie talk. Okay, we're going to go back to the news. I want to talk about the comics from January 22nd. I've been speed reading through some comics to catch up for the modern day with you guys. Oh, hell yeah, Ford versus Ferrari, my recommendation. That means a lot. I thought it was my best picture of the year. I understand why it didn't win, but that was my poll. Okay, so we've got the January 22nd comic books from January 22nd, 2020. I am catching up. I'm about 3 weeks behind, but these are my favorite comics from back then. So if you haven't been to the comic store in a few weeks, or if you want recommendations from a little while ago, or maybe you are watching this 6 months in the future, which is something you can totally do. Marvel Unlimited releases comics 6 months later. So if you're ever curious what I recommended that you can now read for free with your monthly subscription of Marvel Unlimited, check back to mine and Amy's Collider Heroes from, what would that have been? August. August, those books will be on Marvel Unlimited now. So check out Collider Heroes back then. In 6 months from now, August again, check out these comics for the Marvel Unlimited price. And also, there's a lot of DC books, but you can find those on DC Daily or DC Unlimited as well. Anyway, these are my polls, January 22nd. We've got Basket Full of Heads, number 4. We've got Curse of the White Knight, number 6. We've got Batman Superman 6. We've got Count Crowley 4. I feel like the other books are all self-explanatory. Count Crowley is the great David Dastmalchian, friend of mine, actor, comic writer now, diehard sweaty. The guy has loved comics from the jump, and now he is writing comics, and he's writing the hell out of them. Count Crowley is a horror comic, but it's very in love with horror. It's a love letter to horror. It's not dark for the sake of being dark. It's got a great tone to it. It's got an 80s horror tone. It's got a lot of classic monsters in it. Count Crowley is a fantastic book. Check out Count Crowley from David Dastmalchian. Detective Comics number 1019. Family Tree number 3. Family Tree is a very weird book from Image, wherein this family, as they get older, randomly start turning into trees. It is a literal family tree. It is very, very weird. Far Sector number 3. Far Sector is effectively a Green Lantern book about a beat cop. It is an individual, like Green Lantern are the cops of the universe, right? So this is a cop story. It's like End of Watch meets Green Lantern. The art is by Juan Cabal. It is some of the best art in comics. Juan Cabal is an absolute genius. I love his work. Far Sector is a really solid book. Highly recommend it. And it's a really fun Green Lantern story. We've also got John Constantine Hellblazer number 3. That is a DC Black Label book. I am a huge fan of DC's Black Label. It is the most consistent. It is so consistently good that I would argue you can pick up any DC Black Label book and any DC Hill House book. I saw someone in the chat say Dollhouse is good. It is. All their books are great over there. But John Constantine Hellblazer is written so well, you can hear his voice, you can hear the accents, you can hear the world, you can smell the rotting flesh. The art ties into the mysticism and darkness of magic really beautifully. Very solid book. Also, we've got Kill Lock number 2. This is an IDW book. Kill Lock is one of the weirdest books I've read in a long time. It's a bunch of robots that have been basically imprisoned, and it's a team of robots that are so weirdly human. These things, the art, it's the same writer-artist, and the art is so good that the scope of space as well as the contained humanity of these robots is captured in equal measure. There is so much. Yakavetta. Thank you, Edward Haskell. Jake Yakavetta. That was driving me crazy that I didn't know how to pronounce it. I hate getting names wrong. Jake Yakavetta, hero of mine, friend of the show, jumped on the Streamlabs last show right at the very end. Jake Yakavetta, thank you very much, man. We also got, and yes, I'm very excited to join the Action Army for a bunch of content. That is why he threw that Streamlabs my way. Action Army, much love to them and to Jake. Okay, Kill Lock, I was saying. It's a team of robots that have all been stranded on another like prison planet that they can't leave, and they're trying to escape it, and all 5 of them have very different personalities. It's almost Star Wars in its scope. It's dealing with a lot of very, very human things with all robots. I'm so impressed with this book, Kill Lock. And then finally, we've got Wonder Woman number 750, guys. Wonder Woman's at 750. That's so cool. I love big event books when they're done well. I think this was done well. The art's gorgeous. The writing's great. It's a very jump-onable book. It's very accessible. We've got a super chat, so I'm going to jump on that real quick. Nico Dig says, thanks for turning me on to Saga. I'm in love with it. I can't say enough about it. Also, Thor number 3 was pretty epic this week. I am 3 weeks behind, so I have not gotten to Thor number 3 yet. Thank you for having no spoilers in there. I'm a huge Donny Cates fan. I'm a big Nick Klein fan. Their Thor is brutal and Norse and badass. Some of the dialogue out of Thor is exactly Donny Cates and exactly Thor. That blend is so appropriate. I love what they did there. It is so good. And thank you for reading Saga. It is not back from hiatus yet. I don't know when it will be. I've got to meet Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples so I can ask them. It is driving me mad. But Saga is, I think, one of the most important comics of the last decade, and I'm really glad that I am so associated with it. I'm honored that I'm associated with Saga to such a level because of my yelling about it, because that means it's working. Go read Saga, and thank you very much for the super chat, Nico. Okay, let's see. Let's see what else. I have not watched the Harley Quinn TV show yet, and I would very much like to. I am a big fan of the direction they're taking Harley. I'm a big fan of Harley being this popular. I love that character, and I've heard only rave things about the show, so I've not checked it out yet, but I very much want to. All right, we've got about 4 minutes left on this episode. Next episode, I'll be talking about, we're thinking Tuesday, right? So Tuesday, I'm thinking 2 o'clock. I'm going to confirm. I'm going to talk to Edward Haskell. We're going to scheme a schedule. I'm thinking Tuesdays at 2, Fridays at 4, and that way we have a consistent show basis. Basically, Tuesday of this week, I'll be talking about the comics that drop tomorrow. Tuesday of this week, I will hopefully have seen Sonic. Obviously, we'll talk about any news that breaks between now and then. I'm very excited for all of the goodness that is coming from you guys. I got to wrap this up. Again, thank you very much. I'm going to check the Streamlabs one last time because that's how Jake Iacovetta snuck in last time with 30 seconds because I want to make sure I don't miss anyone over in the Streamlabs. Smack Talk was the last one, so I know I'm good over there. I'm so glad everyone is really enjoying the goodness of the Batsuit, or most people are enjoying the goodness of the Batsuit. You guys, thank you very much. Hopefully, my next announcement is about a podcast, so I'm not the only guy on the internet without a podcast. I have found a home for it, and they know how to do all the tech that I don't. And I will be doing podcasts from my new space as early as next week. So I am really excited. And over on my Patreon, I'm going to do a couple exclusive videos in the new studio space where I'll be filming from now on. So keep an eye over there. And thank you all very much for watching this. And as always, thank you, comic books, for existing. Y'all are the best.